people
Apart.
apart
But thank God
in
you
the
were not
workplace.
the one that's telling us. Jenna is. So it's lovely to have you back, Jenna.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to see you again.
It is. It feels like forever since we've seen each other. It feels like it's been like 6 months.
I think it's only been 2 months.
Wow. Sure, it feels like a long time. Just a quick one, just a quick catch up. How have you been? How's the long 2 months been? I know, being in the field that you work in, things can get quite hectic and quite busy for you. So how has the last few months been since we've chatted and since we've seen each other?
It's been good. It's been good. Clients keep us nice and busy, and we like that. And it's nice to settle matters, so everyone's happy.
That's good to know. All right. So grievances in the workplace, right? It's weird because I think many of us know about grievances, but I think if one had to describe a grievance, I think that would often become a difficult thing to do. So just for the foundation side of things, what is a grievance by definition?
Sure. So a grievance in the workplace, refers to some sort of discontentment that an employee is having at work. This could be with another employee, their line manager, or even the big boss. It's just something that's unsettled them and they want it rectified.
Okay. Are there any exclusions when it comes to these type of grievances?
Yeah, so one of the big ones is that you can't necessarily lodge a formal grievance with things dealing with maybe, compensation, maybe there's an issue with unfair labor practice, or even when you're dealing with benefits, sometimes it's a pension issue or provident fund issue, then a grievance isn't the correct forum for that.
And then just would if you are upset at the fact that you've seen so much nepotism in the workplace, right? And it becomes a grievance to you. Would that also be something that you could somehow, I don't know.
It's a very difficult one because what are you going to say to the employer? I don't like the person you hired. With nepotism, that's a tricky one. What you're wanting to focus your grievances on is when you have a rights issue and an interest issue, and you don't want to make it about someone else's employment.
Okay. So then how can these grievances then be addressed within the workplace?
So the first step would be to raise it with your direct line manager, okay, and say, look, I'm having this issue, can you assist me? If your issue is with the line manager or the line manager can't assist, the next step would be to go to the HR person if that person exists in a company.
Yeah.
Obviously, not everyone has an HR representative.
Yeah.
So then you look at the department head or the next person above the line manager. They have to get back to you with some sort of comments, feedback, or something to that effect. They can also ask you to lodge a formal grievance HR form, just so they keep a record of it. If they don't come back to you, you're not happy with it, you take it a next step further. You go to the management. Or then you maybe have to lodge a formal grievance process, which is very different and is, it's very structured and there's a certain format it has to take.
And what happens if they kind of just dismiss your grievances and they don't take you seriously, or they are just delaying even getting back to you because to them it's just nonsense, man. But to you, it's truly a grievance.
Yeah, so look, you've got to balance that, whether someone's just very sensitive in the workplace or whether there actually is merit to their dispute. If the employer is not taking you seriously at all, your next step is either to consult an attorney to see whether they can write a letter on your behalf and whether that can resolve it, or even ghostwrite it so that you've just got the right legal points, but it's not on an attorney's letterhead. Your other option is to go to the CCMA or bargaining council, depending on which industry you're in, and to lodge your formal dispute there. But there's very tight deadlines around this, so you mustn't let it hang for too long either.
Sure.
And if there's an outcome where you feel like you're being bullied at work, maybe by another colleague, is that also something to lodge as a grievance?
Absolutely. So about 2 years ago, there was a new code implemented dealing with workplace bullying and also harassment. And if employers don't attend to it or they don't attend to it timelessly, they could find themselves liable in terms of, the Employment Equity Act and all of the rest of it. So there's a very tight deadline for them to take it seriously.
Wow.
Sure. Okay. So what steps then could an employee take if they are at a grievance hearing? What process?
Sure. So if we're talking now of grievance hearings can take two formats. It can be an informal process or a formal one. Informal is when, we're sitting around a table and we're just discussing the issues we have and we're trying to figure out how can we move forward. This works very well with minor disputes or where you're really trying to preserve that relationship going forward because you want to also still be able to work with one another.
Yeah.
A formal process is usually taken with very serious complaints. This could be harassment or bullying or something has gone horribly wrong in the workplace. This could, involve writing a formal notice to attend a grievance hearing. HR has to investigate. You could call witnesses. The person that you have a grievance against would have to maybe defend themselves. They can also be represented by a fellow employee or a union representative. An independent chairperson must chair this hearing with a formal outcome written.
Sure.
Wow.
So it's
Sounds
like
hectic, eh?
it sounds like a court proceeding here.
It's almost like an arbitration or a disciplinary hearing. It's very similar to that.
But you can't log a grievance when you have left your job and maybe the payout does not come in time, or you've waited long and everyone that you know that has left before you has gotten paid out and you're still waiting. In those cases, you can't.
You wouldn't lodge a grievance with the employer. Your disputes could either still fall within the realm of the CCMA for maybe constructive dismissal, or when you're dealing with pay issues or monies that haven't been paid over to you, and depending on your threshold, the correct forum would actually be to go to the Department of Labor and have them send out an investigator to the workplace.
Wow. I didn't know you
Okay.
could do that.
And then just a quick one. I'm not sure if this is a bit off topic, but I was wondering about, when you have to, when your manager tells you, oh, you have to sign a warning, or you have to sign a verbal warning or a verbal written warning. Is there an opportunity for you as the employee, ne?
Yes, employee.
Yeah, okay. As the employee to go, okay, I'm actually not signing this. Is there any sort of basis that you can decline to sign any sort of verbal or written warnings?
Once an employer has decided to hand you with a warning, whether you sign it or not doesn't invalidate it, because a witness can sign to say that they saw you receive your warning.
Okay.
A lot of employees think, well, I didn't sign my warning, so I don't have a warning on my
Correct.
record. You
Yes.
actually do.
Wow.
If you have an issue with the substance of that warning and you think it's factually incorrect, you need to appeal that internally.
Okay. No, I'm asking.
No.
because
We're getting some information that we need here.
100%, because I realized in my time when I work corporate, and especially especially in call centers, they give you warnings like it's no one's business, bro. So I've because I've come across in at the time that there was always this thing of like, no, I'm not going to sign because I believe it's incorrect, or I just don't understand for whatever reason, and then the individual has the idea that I've never signed a warning, I've got nothing on my record, hence I thought I'd just throw the question at you.
Yeah. You might very well have something on your record.
So, Cliff, you should go check that record.
Okay, Jenna, if people need to contact you for anything label or related, how do they do that?
Sure, so then contact me via email. That would be jenna@adamslegal.co.za. Alternatively, they can contact our office on 081 396 7190.
Dankie baie,
Thank
Jenna. Always
you.
lucky to have you in studio. Thank you for your
Thank
time. Just before you leave, very quickly, Michaela has a question to ask you. And
Oh dear.
listen, I mean, previously you did well in these questions. I feel like
I don't think that's correct. I don't think I've ever gotten one correct. These quizzes
I
are
would just-
not for me.
I was just being positive. Just being the positive guy here, because I don't have an answer. Apparently, my answer is wrong.
Jenna, we enjoy whatever you come up with.
That is true.
So,
It's always creative. I'm
yes,
not gonna.
exactly. You make us think, wait, is the question right? So we're going to throw it at you. It says this, not bound by lips, nor always spoken, heard by one above when hearts are broken. What am I?
I know.
I'm stumped.
Bro, even I was like, what are you asking me?
I have no answer.
Yeah.
I
plead the fifth.
I concede. I concede.
I can't see this one. That's the first.
We
That's
brought
a
it to court.
Wow. Guys, we made Jenna concede on this one. Okay, Michaela really pulled out the big guns this afternoon. I tell you what, why don't you go ahead and just take a guess? Raai wat daardie antwoord kan wees. Asseblief. Ko lekker deur, because I'm still stuck on silence My answer is still silence.
That's his answer.
Michaela says it's wrong. So if you think you know what the answer is or what the answer could possibly be, pop us a WhatsApp on 081-729-1657. Pop us your voice notes as well, telling us what those answers could be. We'll give you the question one more time for Game of the Day.
Not bound by lips nor arms.